everyone. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Marketing Communications Specialist Kelsey Giansanti with another edition of Chatting with CHI, a series featuring interviews with CHI's industry thought leaders. I'm pleased today to speak with Aziz Ahmed, CHI's Chief Engineer in our Water and Wastewater Group. Welcome, Aziz. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Kelsey. Happy to be chatting here.
As an expert in the water industry, you've been involved in several smart water management solutions to streamline operations. Can you help us better understand smart utilities and smart water in the industry?
Sure. Utilities run water and wastewater systems. There are defined functions to run, manage, operate, and maintain a utility, right? The success of these functions is dependent on the decisions made by the decision maker, in this case, a utility manager. Now, smart decisions are made based on available data or information. Up until a few years back, decisions were made based on limited data and mostly using individuals' experience. With the advancement of technology, we can collect tons of data, automate data analysis to see the trends, and even predict the outcome of decisions using ICTs, information and communication technology. Other businesses are already using them. The utility industry is a little bit behind. That is why there is this big push for smarting up our utilities. Smart water is the idea of realizing the best use of our technology in this digitalization era so that we can use ICTs to make better decisions and run utilities maybe a little differently, but better.
Now, you mentioned that a utility works under several defined functions, such as finance. How does smart water concept help in the success of these functions of the utility?
Sure. I think I can explain it better with an example. Let's consider the function finance you just mentioned. The function finance and associated decisions are dependent on funding. Now, funding is dependent on decision parameters like revenue management, which in turn depends on billing along with other factors. The umbrella function, finance, is successful if billing is done properly, right? How do you do that? One example, you can use real-time monitors of pollutant sources so that a utility knows the polluters and assign violation-related penalties. You are using ICT here, sensors, monitoring discharge from potential violators. Another example of ICT is dynamic billing through smart meters and sensors to eliminate water losses and thefts. So these are just a couple of examples, only one decision parameter. If we can define all critical decision parameters to run a function successfully, we can identify the tools to get the data to make smarter decisions. I can give you more examples, but time won't permit for that discussion here, right?
Thank you. Now, have these ideas been implemented in the past?
Yes, the utility industry has been discussing most of these ideas for many years, but there are two major impediments for not implementing some of them. Number one, unavailability of sensors, monitors, data handling, analysis, and management technology. And number two is more related to the idea of reliability. Doing the same thing over and over again provided a sense of reliability. Using digitalization technology what was feared as destructive to customers. Also, when money is tight, the utilities are always playing in catch-up or reactive mode. So new technology and untested ideas appeared as something unknown. It only changed as some of the bigger and more solvent utilities started to invest in ideas and ICTs pushed by tech companies who are involved in global phenomenon of smart cities and started to see utilities as areas where they can expand their digitalization related business.
Now, if tech companies are forcing the changes, will it meet the utilities' needs?
That's a very good question. I personally believe that the current trend in smart water is kind of top-down approach, where tech giants are thinking and innovating and pushing the gadgets and software down through the utility stuff. Big and rich utilities have the money to invest in research, and usually they do it to meet their own needs, right? While the outcome is useful and can be used as knowledge, each utility is different. Many small to mid-sized utilities are not solvent enough. They try to match their problems to big utilities to copy the solutions, right? The fear of being left out in the digitalization boom, if I may say that, is more than actually finding solutions to meet individual utilities' needs. That's why I believe a more bottom-up approach will be more appropriate, where a utility manager will identify their decisions and data needs and work with consultants like us to determine the investments on ICTs. I think CHA's goal to become a trusted consultant of all the utilities we serve will work well with this bottom-up concept.
So with COVID-19 challenges facing communities, can smart water be applied to COVID-related issues?
Yes, COVID disrupted our normal way of living, right? It showed us ways to do things differently than our normal. Think about our business. We are doing almost 90% of our work from home. We're doing video conferencing and using technology more efficiently to stay together, to collaborate, and our productivity has actually improved significantly. The COVID situation is still new, and we are still struggling to become smarter than the virus. As the vaccine is out, we have some breathing room now to find out how we can trace mass level of infections earlier before it affects our cities and towns' livelihoods. Recent research found traces of the virus in the sewer system. If we can track the virus levels and connect it to the rate of infection and spread in the population centers, we can actually use this technology significantly better. In that case, we can probably develop some early detection plan and use these data to develop and execute a shutdown or better restriction plan to control the spread more effectively. So we are keeping our ears and eyes open to understand any new development in this area.
That's great to hear, Aziz. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And thank you all for tuning into another episode of Chatting with CHA. You can find this and all future episodes on our website under Changemakers Videocast. We'll be chatting again soon.